Hi, I'm Greg Hopf, and welcome to this, the premier edition of DeerQuest Outdoor Adventures. On our program, we plan to take you on lots of exciting hunts around the country for all kinds of game. On today's edition, we're going to start out with an exciting deer hunt in Wisconsin at the Brush Ranch, where our hosts Jim and Cindy Brush show us some fabulous whitetail action. We'll be joining Mr. Judd Cooney, who was recently inducted into the Bowhunter Hall of Fame as he takes a 153 class Pope and Young whitetail. We're then going to Illinois, to one of my favorite places in the entire country to hunt whitetails, where we're going to join DeerQuest's hunting friend, Mr. Christian Faust, as he takes a 181-inch magnificent trophy whitetail, truly a trophy of his dreams. So stick with us for some great hunting action, and welcome once again to DeerQuest Outdoor Adventures. Greg Hopf's DeerQuest Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by DeerQuest Limited, makers of Deer Sense, the scent that smokes. Carter's Hunting Lodge, the Pike County, Illinois premier hunting location where whitetail hunting fantasies become whitetail hunting realities. Also brought to you by these fine sponsors. Nikon Sporting Optics, a better look at your world. Holly Caller Wildlife Calls and Accessories, quality products for today's modern sportsman. Light and Sights, producers of high-tech fluorescent optics. Easy Cut Ratchet Pruners, quality equipment for the sportsman. Odor Free, the original scent eliminator. Be silent, be still, be odor free. And Wind Tracker, the fibers that float to show you the direction of your scent. Don't guess, see the wind, and know for sure. We traveled to southwestern Wisconsin for a whitetail hunt with Mr. Judd Cooney. Now, Judd is a world-famous photographer, writer, guide, outfitter, and bow hunter who was recently inducted into the Bowhunters Hall of Fame. We were going to be the guests of Jim and Cindy Brush, owners and operators of the Brush Ranch, which is a highly managed whitetail deer hunting operation. The Brush Ranch is what people call a high fence ranch, but we found the term high fence to be somewhat deceiving. The ranch consists of over 2,000 acres of ideal whitetail deer habitat and has some 17 miles of perimeter fence. You quickly realize that you're hunting deer as wild as you'll find anywhere. During the week, I had an opportunity to speak with Jim Brush's son, Travis, who is the ranch manager and responsible for the daily operation of the ranch. All right, I'm here with Travis Brush, who's the manager of the Brush Ranch. Travis, we've been having a great time here, but why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about how the Brush Ranch got started, a little bit of the history of how this all came about.
Well, as far as the hunting side of it, we started approximately 3 years ago, and we started off pretty slow, a few guys. It takes a little time to get the word of mouth out. And this will be our third year here, and we're doing pretty good so far.
Now, a lot of people think that you come to a place like the Brush Ranch and it's some kind of canned hunt. I'm not sure what people actually think. What I've found, my experience is that these deer are just as difficult to hunt as any place I've ever been. They sure don't come up. So you don't release deer, do you?
No, definitely not. It's you got 17 miles of perimeter fence, so you're talking. That's a lot of area to cover as far as the hills and
So these deer can wander anywhere they want.
Anywhere they want.
Now you do have a program for breeding. In other words, you take certain bucks that you use as breeder bucks. How does that work?
Well, about 3 miles from here, we have a breeding facility. We have 16 pens, and in each pen we have a buck and 10 does. So we'll take those will breed, then we'll take their offspring a year and a half later and breed them back.
All right, and this helps to make a good genetic strain?
Then we'll roll those bucks out into the big area, and we'll go from there.
Believe me, folks, check out the Brush Ranch here in Wisconsin, because deer hunting is alive and well in the state of Wisconsin, contrary to popular belief, especially here at the Brush Ranch.
Right.
Thanks again, Travis.
Thank you.
Look to see you again soon.
You too.
Well, Mr. Cooney, we're back at the Brush Ranch, or you guys are. It's my first time out here this year. You guys were here last year. Were you here a year before?
I've photographed 4 years here. 3 years before last year, and then they didn't hunt it. They when they first put this together, when they had the museum up there, it was just bare cement walls the first year I was here. And then I started photographing here, and of course they weren't hunting; they were just raising deer at that time.
You can't go anywhere on this place without running into deer.
Well, they've got a real high buck-doe ratio. Let's say they've got 2,000 acres under high fence here, so it is fenced in, but they've got a lot of deer here that's not overpopulated like so many places I've been, where it's high-lined and they've got an overpopulation. They've just got a real healthy population of deer, and they're culling them down to where it's about a 1-to-1 buck-doe ratio. So you see almost as many bucks as you do does. The genetics here are real good. All of the deer on this ranch were raised right here. They haven't imported any deer from anywhere. And even their breed bucks, they tranquilize them right here on the ranch, using them a couple years for breeding and then turn them loose again. So there's some monster breed bucks that are running out loose there too, and they're constantly changing stock, but it's all from the ranch right here. They're all indigenous to this area.
I'll get Rush Ranch on our website, which is deerquest.com, and then we'll have you on there. Right. And what your website is what?
Yeah, we've already got the Brush Ranch on ours. It's just juddcooney.com.
Juddcooney.com,
right.
Okay. So you folks can turn around and type in either one of those and come up with a lot of neat stuff on it.
We got the phone numbers and everything, all the information is on there.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more exciting deer hunting action from the Brush Ranch in Wisconsin right after this. With myself on camera, Judd and I set out for a morning hunt in an area that Travis had seen some nice bucks in his early season scouting. Travis had set tree stands for us, and Judd decided to use some deer scent smoking scent sticks as a cover and attractor scent. It was the last week of October, and the bucks were in pre-rut mode, so Judd knew from past experience that the smoking scents would be a good tool to help attract a big buck into bow range. What do you think?
Well, that smoke's bringing them in. They just got to bring the right one in.
Let's hope so.
It's a matter of being patient.
It wasn't long before we had some small bucks and does working their way into our tree stand location, and Judd was hopeful that the powerful deer scent sticks would also lure a big buck in close enough for a shot. Judd decided to try some horn rattling as an extra attractor. When used in conjunction with the scent that smokes, rattling will often bring a buck into range where the smoking sticks can be smelled by the deer, who will then try to determine the source of the scent. It wasn't long until this young non-typical arrived along with a little friend, who were apparently both attracted straight to the smoking scent stick bucket. But as curious as those two had been, it was almost comical to watch this little five-pointer who just couldn't get enough of the deer scents. Finally, Judge spotted a pretty good buck that was working its way in toward our tree stand location. Then he suddenly spotted this second buck, also headed into the smoke location, and Judd knew right away this one was a shooter.
I hit him.
He had his nose right to that smoke.
I need a smoke. I don't smoke at all.
What a buck.
Oh, look at that.
What a deer.
What a deer, what a deer.
Well, Judd, what do you think that smoke did for you in getting that buck?
Well, this is deer stand smoke. I've used it in my hunting camp in various places for about the last 4 or 5 years, and I swear by it. We've taken some of our biggest bucks using it, and it really adds a whole new dimension to your bow hunting as far as bringing these big bucks in close enough to get a shot. This one came right on in when he winded it, never even hesitated.
Well, the proof is in the pudding, because, boy, that's one fine buck. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, stick with us, because we'll be right back with more exciting deer hunting action right here on DeerQuest Outdoor Adventures. Let's have a look at this week's edition of Gear, Gadgets, and Gizmos, where we feature Wind Tracker, a premier product for determining wind direction. You know, when I go afield, there's gear that I consider essential and gear that I consider fluff. Now, one thing that I do consider essential is gear that allow me to know the direction of the wind. There's a traditional way to do it. Many people use a lighter. Some people will use a puffer bottle. But by using Wind Tracker and Wind Tracker fibers, I can see the wind over a long distance. And to me, that's critical in making my hunt a success. And that's our featured product of the week on Gear, Gadgets, and Gizmos. I'm Greg Hopf. Well, I told you at the beginning of the show that we'd be going to one of my favorite destinations for great whitetail hunting, and that place is Carter's Hunting Lodge, located in Pike County, Illinois. Not only is it one of the premier whitetail hunting locations in the state of Illinois, but is also, in my opinion, one of the very best locations in the entire country where a bow hunter can have a real opportunity to fulfill his or her fantasy of taking a huge trophy whitetail. And the Carter family always does their best to assure you a quality experience. Operating out of a warm and comfortable farmhouse, Carter's Hunting Lodge consists of over 10,000 acres of family-owned and leased property. As a result of an excellent trophy buck management program, each year Carter's Hunting Lodge consistently produces a large number of outstanding bucks. This past year was no exception, as we found out by joining Carter's Hunting Lodge guide and cameraman Tyler Robinson and DeerQuest hunting friend Christian Faust, as Christian tried to make it 3 trophy bucks in 3 consecutive years hunting at Carter's. The date was November 1st, and Tyler had selected a location where the Carters had placed a permanent tree stand a few years earlier. Located in an excellent bottleneck, this tree stand had been a consistent producer of trophy bucks over past seasons, and Tyler felt confident that he and Christian would at least see some bucks. It wasn't long before this 8-pointer worked his way into, under, and past Christian's stand location. While this was the kind of deer that many hunters would take anywhere else, Christian knew that the buck still needed a couple of years to become the kind of animal that the hunters at Carter's Lodge were trying to arrow. By letting the younger buck walk, Christian was rewarded just 45 minutes later when this buck of a lifetime was headed straight to his tree.
I thought he winded us, so I figured I better try to take the shot. I'm pretty sure he saw us. I just hope we can get him. I'll tell you what, that buck, that's a 160 class deer or better, easily. That thing, it was at least an 11 or 12 point. I just hope we can get that buck, man. That's a good buck.
At Carter's Hunting Lodge, the recovery rate on deer shot with an arrow is extremely high. This is due in large part to their policy regarding hit deer. Unless the animal goes down within eyesight, all hunters are instructed to get down from their tree stand as quietly as possible, and to just as quietly leave the area. By allowing a buck to lay down without being pushed, most deer are found within a couple of 100 yards from where they were shot, even when that shot was less than perfect. Of course, if the shot was perfect, the animal won't go as far before expiring, and just letting it lay for a few extra hours won't hurt a thing. After quietly leaving the area, Christian and Tyler went back to the lodge for a good hot dinner, and they had no trouble in recruiting help to go back and track Christian's monster buck.
There he is, boys. Oh yeah, look at that.
Say big buck!
Pike County, Carter's Hunting Lodge.
Moby buck. This is probably the pre-rut, I'd say. All these bucks getting slammed.
They're working them scrape lines.
Carter's Hunting Lodge. Right
You right? You kind of rode him in, though, didn't you?
We was debating on where to go. We got back there and probably got to stand at 3 o'clock. Christian did a little range finding and then sat there 30 more minutes and here came an 8-point, about a 120.
It looked, I mean, it was great. Full sign. It was hot.
And Christian wanted to pass on him. Most guys being their last day of their hunt probably would have shot him, but it wasn't what he was looking for and he knew what was around here in Pike County area. He made a good choice there apparently, because 45 minutes later we heard a little bit of grunting and it sounded like 2 bucks sparring about 50 yards down the draw. And after the sparring stopped, I grunted 2 or 3 times on the true talker, and it was a true talker because
He came right in.
you could hear him walking in the leaves, but you couldn't see him because it's so brushy. He got 40 yards, then we could see him. And I seen one side, which would have been this side. And I said, Christian, get ready, because here comes the shooter. He couldn't stand up because I had trimmed the brush for me, and he's a little bit taller than me, and he was in the brush, so he stayed sitting down, and the deer came up there 18 yards, and he had seen this stand before. It was a built stand, and the wind started swirling. We was in the timber, and you could see him getting
About ready to
getting nervous, and if Christian went and released when he did, I think this deer would have turned around and been back in the brush and been out there for somebody else then.
Yeah, he was about 18 yards, and he was kind of quartering to a little bit, and we shot him here on his right side.
At the angle he had, he made a perfect shot.
You sure did, Christian. Congratulations on a great buck. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this, the premiere edition of Deer Quest Outdoor Adventures. And we hope to see you same time next week for more exciting hunting action. Till then, I'm Greg Hopf. Be safe and good hunting. Greg Hopf's Deer Quest Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by Deer Quest Limited, makers of Deer Sense, the scent that smokes. Carter's Hunting Lodge, the Pike County, Illinois premier hunting location where whitetail hunting fantasies become whitetail hunting realities. Also brought to you by these fine sponsors. Nikon Sporting Optics, a better look at your world. Holly Caller Wildlife Calls and Accessories, quality products for today's modern sportsman. Light and Sights, producers of high-tech fluorescent optics. Easy Cut Ratchet Pruners, quality equipment for the sportsman. Odor Free, the original scent eliminator. Be silent, be still, be odor free. And Wind Tracker, the fibers that float to show you the direction of your scent. Don't guess, see the wind, and know for sure.